In today's video, I want to share with you the experience of what it was like to film my very first podcast. This is something that was brand new to me. I've never done this before. I love podcasts. I like to listen to them, especially when I'm just like cooking or doing like random stuff around the house. I'll always put a podcast on and listen, and always like random people, not even business, like rappers and stuff like that, but whatever. The reason why I want to make a video on this is because there's a very important lesson behind it. Okay. It's funny how when I look back at life has a tendency to come full circle, especially when you work towards something and you actually want that thing to happen. So the story with you is basically 2 years ago. Before I had my business, I used to be a full-time college student. I was studying industrial engineering. And then during the summer, I had a door-to-door knocking job. So I would sell pest control going door to door. As I was doing that job, I was making pretty good money, to be honest. But the fact that it was in person, I was out the sun or when it was raining outside and then it was long hours, it wasn't like, although yes, the money was good, I knew deep down that this is not what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So anyways, during that summer, as I was watching YouTube videos on how to start a business, different techniques, different business models and stuff like that, I was very lost. I didn't know what to do. Like I had this drive, this hunger to start an online business. However, the thing that was holding me back, or I think in my head, the thing that was holding me back is actually having that business idea. I used to say to myself, oh, if I had the business idea and I knew what to do, then I'd be super rich. So I just need to find a business idea, which looking back is kind of stupid, but it is the mentality that I had back then. As I was on YouTube, scrolling, watching a bunch of videos, I came across this one channel where this one person was sharing some pretty good insights on how to start an online agency. I was watching his videos. I found them pretty interesting. I followed his Instagram, or I went on his Instagram for whatever reason. And as soon as I looked at his Instagram, I looked at his story, I realized the story was basically him filming from his balcony, right, from his apartment. I look at his story, I look at the balcony and the view, the outside, and I'm like, huh, that looks very familiar. And I clicked that he basically lived right next to where I lived, which is in Montreal, if you didn't know. So I look at his story and I see, and I'm like, oh my God, that is basically the same view that I have from my apartment. And that's when I clicked that he was from the exact same city, but also basically the same street. We weren't on the same street, but we were very close to each other. And as I looked into him a bit more, I was like, how the hell is this guy, who's slightly older than I am, making these crazy amounts of money, driving my dream car, has an online business, and I'm out here door knocking and selling pest control and being a full-time college student? And it genuinely pissed me off. And I think for me, that was like the motivation that I needed to start a business and actually put my head down and stop making excuses for myself, is when I saw someone who's basically my age living the life that I wanted in the same city, basically the same street. It genuinely pissed me off. And I said to myself, I will beat that guy one day. So I watched a couple more of his videos. I watched other videos on YouTube as well, and just kind of, put my head down and started to work while I was door knocking during the summer. And then afterwards, when I went back to college, I was working on the business and also going to college. And now 2 years later, that very same person is the person that invited me to be on his podcast, my very first podcast. And he was interviewing me about how I started my business and how I became successful. So for me, this whole life lesson of how 2 years ago, I used to look at this person, not in a place of envy or whatever, but it pissed me off. And I was like, I will be that person one day. I will get to that position one day. And it genuinely pissed me off. And for me to film my very first podcast with that very same person that inspired me to start a business in the first place was absolutely, for me, it really meant a lot to me. Not the actual podcast, but the fact that I had the vision for myself and I made it happen. And I did not stop until I did. And the funniest part is that I didn't even ask him to be on the podcast. He's the one that reached out to me and invited me to do a podcast with him, which is even crazier to me. The lesson I'm trying to explain to you is that I know you can look online at these people on Instagram, on YouTube, social media platforms, and the life they have, or the achievements that they've done in their life, might seem so far-fetched and almost impossible to attain, that you ask yourself, am I even able to accomplish that and reach that level? And it almost seems like you're in a movie where you're watching these people live these crazy lives, achieve these crazy goals, and you're just like on the sidelines looking at their life. And you reach a point where you get so numb to it that you don't even realize that you can be in their position and do what they're doing with their lives, if that's what you want. When you view these people online, I get lots of hate comments. People saying I'm a fake guru, all these crazy things. And I look at his channel, he has the same thing. So I'm guessing it's a common sort of thing that's happening with us. So instead of viewing people who are in the position in life where you want to be from a place of envy, let it piss you off. Okay. I want you to look at me or look at whoever you're inspired by and have that be your source of inspiration. Be genuinely pissed off that some random kid is making this much money and he has the exact same tools, the same background, the same everything as you, and has started in the same place as you are right now. Okay? And you never know what can happen in 2-3 years. Maybe you'll get to meet that person or achieve your goals or surpass their goals. That's even better. But yeah, that was basically the summary. I will leave a link to the podcast that I recorded. I was very nervous. Okay. I wasn't myself 100%, but I'm still extremely happy that I did it. I would love to do more of them and even host like in the future, like maybe do my own podcast show and just have a bunch of entrepreneurs or interesting people on there. But yeah, I hope this was useful. Quick little story time. As usual, if ever you have any questions or anything for me, send me a message on Instagram. That is where I am the most active, or just join our school community. There's a bunch of people like us who are trying to start a business. So if you join that, you ask a question, I am very active. I will get back to you and have a one-to-one with you. But yeah, other than that, best of luck. Get back to work with watching these YouTube videos, and we'll see each other in the next one. Bye-bye.